Hello and welcome to Mountain Patriot Homestead. It is such a beautiful day outside that we decided to fire up the pit and get some pork ribs on there. Now these aren't your normal spare rib type things. My husband loves, and I do too, I'm not going to just put it all on him, but he loves country style ribs, which if you're familiar with those, it is trimmed where the bone is not there, and it is just a big beefy even though it's pork, it's just pretty much pure meat, and that's what we're going to be putting on the pit today. But I have out my recipe box and I want to share a pork rub recipe with you that I like to use. It has a lot of different seasonings in it, but it is not difficult, and the stuff you probably have in your kitchen cabinet. Now, I will tell you, when it comes to seasoning your foods, you choose what you enjoy. That's what we do here. There's always so many things that you can put in, take out, that you like, and it can change the flavors of your food to suit you and sometimes just to bump up that flavor. Now I want to show you, this is a apron that I've worn before on some of my previous videos, but I have not really pointed it out, I don't believe. It says, "I'm not old, I'm well seasoned," and I want to thank my youngest son for that, because you know he's likes to joke around, and he knew this apron fit me perfectly. So I'm not old, I'm well seasoned. So let's talk about the seasoning that we're going to put on our pork ribs today. Now, as I said, I'm going to move you a little closer, okay? Hold on just a second and let me get you over here a little closer. Okay, that should get you a little closer where you can see more of what's going on. You don't need to see as much of me, you need to see more of what's going in this bowl. Now, as I said, most things should be in your cabinet, but if you don't have an ingredient, sometimes you can substitute things and it will turn out just as well, and brown sugar is one of those things. If you just happen to not have it in your cabinet, or if you're like me and you know you have brown sugar somewhere, you just don't know what part of the pantry it's in today, you can make your own. Did you know that? Did you know you can make your own brown sugar? So don't despair. If you just have sugar and molasses, that's all brown sugar is. Sugar and molasses. So we're still good to go because I have both of those ingredients. So I am taking 1/4 cup of just plain white sugar, and I'm going to reach over you here, so excuse me. And I am pulling out my blackstrap molasses here. And I'm just going to add, I don't need a lot, I'm just going to add, if I can pour it, about 1/2 teaspoon. Well, if I can get it in there, because that stuff is thick. Just going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of that blackstrap molasses right into that. And then it's just as simple as getting a spoon out, because I forgot to do that a while ago. Sound like I'm playing cymbals now. And I am just, my bowl's running away from me. I'm just going to kind of stir that up in here a little bit. I am just making brown sugar, y'all. And, you know, I should have done this prior to starting this video, but I just wanted to show y'all how easy it is to make your own brown sugar. And if you wanted to make a larger quantity of this, you could use some brown sugar, not brown sugar. If you had brown sugar, you wouldn't have to be doing this. You can use some plain white sugar in a mixing bowl and throw your blackstrap molasses or whatever kind of molasses that you got. Throw that in the mixing bowl and mix up larger quantities of this too, just so you can have it on hand. Seriously, this is something, you know, if to save time, I could have done this off camera, but again, I just, you know, y'all don't mind spending time in the kitchen with me, do you? I hope not. I hope you're not being forced to watch this video. That would be a sad thing, but I am just, I could stir this up a little more and just have it all perfect. But you know what? I think it's just about perfect enough for me. So, yeah, I'll show you here in a minute what it looks like. You know how brown sugar gets, it's kind of sticky and kind of sticks together? Well, it's because it's got that molasses in it. Let me show you what it looks like. That's just that white sugar and molasses, and you've got brown sugar. It's that simple. So that was a 1/4 cup of white sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of molasses. Very tiny little bit of molasses, and I have the brown sugar that I need. Okay, let's move on. My next ingredients I'm going to put in the seasoning for those ribs is a tablespoon of sea salt. And this is that pink Himalayan salt. I keep it on hand. I buy mine at Dollar Tree. I can get a pound of that pink Himalayan salt, the same thing that you can get at the stores. That's $4 or $5. I can get for $1.25. When I bought all of this, it was back whenever it was still $1 a bag, and I bought a whole box. Did you know you can order cases of stuff from Dollar Tree and have it delivered to your local Dollar Tree, and it doesn't cost you anything extras? But anyway, this was a tablespoon of salt. I've got 2 tablespoons of black pepper. Not tablespoons. Ignore what I said. I've got 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now, you can increase any of these amounts that you like for your recipes. Again, it's your kitchen, folks. Y'all do what you like and how much you want in there. If that's not enough for you, you add more to it. That's my rules for my kitchen. If I want to put more or less, go for it. Now, I've got onion powder. That's 2 teaspoons of onion powder. 1 teaspoon of ground mustard powder. Now, if you don't have that in your repertoire of spices in the cabinet, don't worry, you can leave that out. That's okay. It's not going to change it that much. But I've got the ground mustard powder. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne, and I've got a teaspoon of oregano. Now, one of the things that I don't have written on my card is the teaspoon of pepper flakes that I'm putting in here, because I don't know about y'all, but I just love pepper flakes. I put pepper flakes in a lot of things. So that's an example of, if you like something, add it. If you like more garlic, put more garlic. If you don't like pepper at all, don't put pepper in it. It's okay. It's not going to be against the rules. Food police aren't going to come looking for you. Now, something a lot of folks have got, I guess they've been doing it for a long time, but I see it a lot more in recipes now than I used to, is they use instant coffee powders and put in recipes, and you can do that. I've got some that I have a recipe for that I put on steak and just, you know, different recipes like that. You could do the same thing here. If you've got your favorite dehydrated foods. Now, something that I will add every once in a while to rubs is my dehydrated tomato powder that I will put in these rubs, and it really adds another depth, kind of almost a smokiness of flavor. So I'll add that. You can do the same thing with bell pepper powders, or any of your sweet pepper powders you can put in with that. So don't be afraid to experiment with your rubs, because every time you add a different ingredient or spice to your rubs, you're going to tweak that flavor just a little bit. So don't be afraid to experiment, because you may come up with something that your family is just crazy about, and you'll know to keep repeating it. So let me grab my rubs. Let me grab my ribs and we'll get that rub on it. So hold on just a second. Alright, as I said, these are not your typical bone-in ribs, and these are pork ribs. So we are just going to put the seasoning that we just mixed up. We're going to put this rub on our meats here. And I'm just going to kind of get it in there good, because you definitely want that flavor on that meat. And if you just sprinkle it on there and go out there and throw it on the pit, it's all just going to fall back off, and we don't want to lose our seasonings down in the grill. We want it to stay on that meat so we can enjoy it later. And I'm just kind of getting it on there. Now you may wonder, what do you do if you run out of your seasoning? Well, just mix up some more. And the nice thing about it is you don't even have to use a different bowl. Just kind of, and like I had all that stuff separated this morning. I don't normally do that. If I'm making it for me and I'm not making a video, I'm not, oh, see, this one does have a little bit of a bone right there. But if I'm making this for us, I'm not getting in here dirtying up half a dozen dishes. I just done that so I could show y'all what all I was putting in here. And I have those little bowls left over from a deal that we had, and I really don't need them in the cabinet because I don't use them for anything else. So I thought that was a good use, is just put the seasoning in them little old bowls and get rid of them. But here we go. And you do this, you can do this to all 4 sides. If you've got enough seasonings, just get it in there. And even if you still have some seasoning left in your bowl and you want to go back over it and put another layer, hey, you get in there, because it's going to cook into that meat and it's going to be so good. I can smell the smoke from the pit out there now. We've got a smoker that has mesquite pellets in it that he's already got cranked up, and I can smell it now, and it smells so good. Now I know people have different, behave yourself. I know people have different ideas of what's the best type of woods to use on their barbecue and that sort of thing. Well, with pork, we kind of like to use a fruit wood, but we didn't have any of that, and we did have mesquite pellets, and we love mesquite. We lived in Texas many years of our lives. As a matter of fact, that's where we both grew up, and so we love mesquite. Somehow I already got all that one, but you know what? I'm just going to doctor him up a little more. But we love mesquite, and just the flavor of mesquite, and that is to me the taste of barbecue is mesquite. And like I said, everybody's got their own preference, and that's okay. Whatever you like, that's what you should use. Now, the only thing that I have that I just put my foot down about with barbecue, but again, if it's in your kitchen, you can call it whatever you want to, but the only thing I will not around my house call barbecue is something I've cooked in the oven. If I've cooked it in the oven, even if I put barbecue sauce on it, it ain't barbecue for me. That's to me, barbecue has to be something that was cooked out on a pit, preferably over wood, because that's what lends that whole smoky barbecue flavor. And but again, if you want to cook a piece of Spam in a skillet and put some barbecue sauce on it and call it barbecue, honey, you do whatever you want to do. It's your kitchen, so you go for that. These look like these are ready for the pit. I'm going to get those out there on the fire and get them cooking. They're going to cook a couple hours, then I'm going to check on them and see what they're looking like. So y'all stay with me because I want you to see the end product, okay? Y'all don't go away. It's looking good. What you think about that rub I put on there?
Well, I ain't tasted it yet, but it looks good. I'm not going to ask what's in it. Just
little of this, little of that.
I know how you are, then I won't eat it.
It's got all good stuff in it.
Yeah, that's what you always say.
Well, if you don't eat it, more for me.
I don't think I ever put enough sauce in a bowl for me.
Do what?
So I don't think I ever put enough sauce in a bowl. I gotta use a bowl and still ain't got enough.
It's looking good. Making me hungry. So much for your clean pit.
Now that'll burn off. But you'll get more sauce. They weren't enough.
Well, we've got them off the pit. What? Let me show you. Don't that look good? You were supposed to wait. Well, how is it?
Good.
It's hot.
Mm-hmm. Didn't need to wait.
Didn't need to wait. Really good. So, that was the seasoning. We right at the last, 30 minutes, we put barbecue sauce on it and have just let it go until it was what temperature? 190?
195.
195. And yeah, melt in your mouth. Wonderful flavor. That seasoning, the marinade on top, and then the barbecue sauce on top of that. The mesquite smoke. This is some good eating. So we're gonna go. We're gonna eat lunch, and I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Love y'all. Mountain Patriot Homestead signing out.